Okay, so I'm going to start with the presentation. My name is Muhammad Niazi, and you guys might have heard of me from Facebook and different medias. Bakir and Sunflower knows me from other ways. It is really nice to meet Usman. I heard about you, but was the first time I talked to you. All right. I'm a student of University of Wollongong in Dubai, UOWD. Okay, and now I'm Microsoft intern at Microsoft Gulf. I'm also in Hero MSP here, and I have around eight years of programming experience. And I moved to Microsoft Technology last year. So before that, I was towards Linux and other operating system. So, okay. You can contact me in a different ways, whichever way you feel like: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, blog, and I also have Google Plus now, and YouTube. YouTube is I have like 8 or 9 videos, but it's gonna hopefully increase more as the things pass on. You guys don't have to write this down. I'm gonna put this deck online somewhere so you guys can download it from OneDrive most probably. Uh, the concept of this course, I was telling Usman as well in the past, like when my when Windows 10 was released, it has changed a lot of things towards the developers as well as the user side. So I wanna basically, this is I can say a complete new era for the developers now. So it right now is the right time when a person should uh, okay. Sunflower. I do see that your mic is working here. Hmm. Uh, which browser are you using? Usman, which browser are you using?
Hello. I'm
Yes.
actually using the link client for Windows.
Okay. So did you install it on in the browser and then logged in?
Yes, it worked with the browser. However, I just logged out and used the link client since it works
Yeah.
better there. But it also works in the browser. It works with Firefox. Just make sure you have the Silverlight plugin installed. But I think the Skype for Business plugin, when you install it, also installs Silverlight, so you're good to go. But since he had us earlier, I think he should be okay, right? Maybe you should just try and reconnect or something.
Okay. Well, all right. Let me continue because then it's gonna become more and more late. All right. So uh, now now is the right time to really get into the development phase, because now the whole whatever the development side which was happening in the past is gone. The Silverlight 8.1 programming, and now we have moved to a new level in which you are just doing one type of programming for the whole platforms. How that works and uh, how that works and how it is going to affect the developers and the users, we will talk about this in this particular session. So, uh, introduction to Visual Studios. I'm gonna just go through it because Usman, are you used to Visual Studios?
Yes, I've used it like a lot of apps,
I'm gonna still go
but
through
don't
it.
worry.
So I'm gonna still go through it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's okay. Don't worry.
All right.
Yeah,
Perfect. So
it's okay.
Visual Studio. Visual Studio
Hello.
is one of the advanced integrated development environment which is provided by Microsoft. And the best thing about this is now we have it available for free if you have a DreamSpark account, or you can literally go to Visual Studios Community 2015, just bing it, and then you're gonna reach to the website. Simply go to visualstudios.com and then you can choose it from there and download it. The good part of this IDE is it is compatible to produce all the applications for the three platforms, which is Windows, iOS, and Android. And besides this, you can also do other fancy languages by using the different thousands of extensions available. So it is really a nice thing to have one IDE for all the different kinds of all the different kind of programming languages you want to work on. So I personally recommend Visual Studios for all the different environments. Okay, I'm gonna go through the demo. So let me go through it. I'm gonna present my desktop. Can you see my desktop?
No, I can't see that yet. I'm only seeing a page with demo and
Yes. Okay. Just
Visual
wait.
Studio environment written.
Can you
Okay.
see it now?
Not yet. No, I can't see it
It's
yet.
loading actually. It's gonna take a while.
Okay, okay, okay.
Let me know when you can see it. Okay.
Okay, it's loading, but nothing yet.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I can see your desktop.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna start the
Yeah.
Visual Studio 2015,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna explain you what the basics of each environment is and how does it actually works. Let it load.
Okay.
It really doesn't matter which particular edition are you using because the basics of all the editions is same. So when you load it, this is the basic page which you're gonna see. I just removed the starting page, but this is the base of it. I'm gonna and let me go from the left side. So this is a toolbox where you're gonna see all the different command. Actually, you know what? Let me start an application, just a random application. Let us create
Okay.
any project, and then you'll be able to understand the tabs much more better way. I'm going to create a blank
Okay.
application. Let me just click OK. We're going to go through this later on anyway. So okay, we are creating a blank application with the name app4. And this is the first page which normally appears when you create a blank application. You will see this window in which you can do all the C# coding. On the right side, you're gonna see different solution explorer. You're gonna see the properties and everything. Let me go one by one with all the windows so you get an idea what each window is about. This
Okay.
toolbox window basically shows the whole tools which you can use in this particular project. We need to choose the XAML page to show you what tools we actually can implement. So I'm choosing a XAML page on the right side, and now you can see all these tools appear on the left side. So all these tools can literally go in and we can design them. Uh, Class view basically displays all the different classes which are being used in the whole in the whole solution overall. Property manager. These are the property managers. So what happens is, like, whenever we choose anything, for example, in our case, I'm choosing a grid here. I'm showing all the properties related to this particular grid on the right side, which includes all its layouts, all its transforming properties, interactions, and its miscellaneous properties, including the name and its appearance. You can even change the colors of them. You can do a bunch of fancy stuff with that. We're gonna go through this later on. And then we have the Team Explorer. Team Explorer is basically used to connect your TFS environment. And let me uncheck them. Okay. Now on the right side, you see this Server Explorer, which helps you to look at the settings of your server, uh, whatever is going on, or whatever the connectivities you have with the server, which includes all the database connectivities, SharePoint connectivities. Cloud Explorer is mostly your Azure, all your Azure connectivity and information concerning it. If you don't have Azure, you don't really need this, but I mean, this is just when you need it, when you have an Azure subscription. Okay, and then you have the main important tab, which is called Solution Explorer. It explains all the files and all the hierarchy and the structure of the files, how they appear. At this moment, you can see it shows universal window, and we have one whole big solution here. And if we expand the solution, we can see different files, which includes the properties, their references, whatever the assets which are being used in this particular solution, and the main XAML, which is a solution file, and the main page file. Each XAML file is okay. I'm gonna further go in depth in the next column, but before, I mean, this is the whole. Okay, and this is the XAML window where you can see, and you can actually see the code of this layout. So if I select this thing, you can see that grid is being selected here. With the new changes, you literally don't need this window, so you can just completely close it. You will be using all the toolbox, and you'll be using the document outline to do all the fancy stuff. You don't need any more XAML coding in Windows 10 and onwards. Only a slight time whenever it is necessary, you only open the XAML window. So this is the overall view of it. Okay, and now let's move back to our presentation. Actually, you know what? Let me open up my presentation from here if I can somehow, and so I don't have to go back and forth. Okay, so this was the demo. Now we need to talk about universal window platform. What is it? Why do we even need this? And what was the necessity of it? And how this has changed the whole Windows 10 approach. Uh, I'm gonna maximize this thing, and I'm gonna move on to this. Okay, yeah. So about the Windows universal Windows platform. What happened was, before we had many devices, each device had their own families. When we talk about the families, we talk about the libraries, we talk about different files which needs to be taken care of. And we had Windows uh, main files which were used to compile their application. So, for example, we had the desktop. We used to take care of software applications. We used to use Windows DLLs with the desktop family files, and eventually we used to come up with the software. Similarly, we had phone, Xbox, and we had Xbox devices and etc. to create their application. Now the Windows 10 has changed the whole concept. Now for all the devices, we have only one solution executes on all different devices, and this has made the concept so simple that you just have to worry about one solution or one application, and it will execute on bunch of different devices. So you can see the desktop, mobile application, mobile, Xbox, IoT headless service, and Surface Hub, and holographic SKUs. All these will use the same application which you will compile only one time, and you don't have to recompile, you don't have to redo any other thing. All you have to do is just compile one time, and it's going to get executed on the bunch of them, bunch of these applications. Now and you can see these uh, further platforms which will be used, which will be using these applications. When we move on further into in this one window and one platform concept, you will notice how Microsoft moved their journey towards Windows 10. And in the beginning, you're gonna see that we had Xbox 360, and if you want to create the games and application for them, you have to learn all the language, all the environment for Xbox 360. Windows Phone 7.5, you had to learn their own information. Now, then we moved to the next level where Xbox One was there, Windows 8 was there, and Windows Phone 8 came in. But still, they had their own different environments, their own different families, as you had to learn them, and you had to develop their applications separately so they can be executed on their different platforms. Windows 10 has completely changed the whole concept. They have a unified core and app platform in which you will create only one application, and it will be executed on the different platforms. It is so easy for the developers as well as for the users. Users will look at the layout. The users will look at the same layout on all the different platforms. So it is really helping them to produce. To get familiarized with all the different on all the different devices they'll be using. Another way of looking at the same thing is like you have this in terms of the devices out there. You see that Windows 10 was now, before we used to have for Windows 10 we have one approach. If you look at before, we used to have multiple device families, and for IoT we had different families. For mobile phones we had different families. For the PCs we had different Xbox and Surface Hub and etc. Now we don't need to remember all these families. We don't need to do all these things. All we have to do is create one application on one single platform, and it's going to change it, and it's going to get executed on everything. This is called universal Windows application. And the platform which we will be using is one universal Windows platform, or UWP. So all the applications which are executed on UWP are known as Universal Windows Application, and this is what we will be working on from now onwards. Uh, this okay. Now I'm gonna go through the demo of this one. So, do you
Okay,
have any
it's
questions?
quite interesting. No,
Okay.
it's really amazing how Microsoft really came up with this and unifying everything.
Yes. Okay. All right. So now I'm gonna recreate this. Let me close this solution so you have an idea what exactly are we doing. So you have to go in files, you're going to go to new, and you're going to click on project. Uh, in the installed, you're going to see the templates which are already there, and within that you're going to go in other languages. In C sharp, Visual C sharp, now you will see universal window, and this is UWA, Windows application. So we're going to create a hello world. You're going to type the name of the application, type the solution name and the location wherever you want to keep it, and it's going to compile and it's going to display all the files and related information like we did last time. Okay, so now you can see hello world solution has been created. We can see this is the only solution which will be executed on all the rest of the devices. This is app.xml, which I was telling you about, that it is about the system, and this is our main file on which we will be working on. So each XAML or XAML, we call it XAML, each XAML has two files. One is a XAML file and the other one is a CS or C# file. To consider how XAML and C# are interrelated to each other, you can consider it as a type of layers. The XAML is more towards the user side, the front end you can say, and C# is the backend side or the programming side of it. So if you go in the C# you can file, you will see all this C# code. And if you go in on the XAML side, you're gonna see the designing part, the front end part, where exactly uh, where exactly oops, hold on, all the front end is gonna be done. Okay, as I mentioned in the past, we don't need XAML anymore, so we won't be working on XAML at this moment anymore. I'm gonna open my toolbox, and so we can create an application, and we'll be working on the document outline. I don't need document outline at this moment. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in, and we will make a hello world app in which we will have a text block which will show us hello world when we will click a button. So let's try to make this app. I'm gonna go in the toolbox, scroll down and look for the tool block. The difference between tool block and toolbox is toolbox is where the user types in the information. For example, when we are in the form and we are asking the username and passwords and all those things. In the tool block, you are actually displaying the information. So I'm going to drag and I'm going to drop it here, and you can see the text block is here now. Now, if you remember the properties tab, I want this text block to display in the middle. So I'm going to go in the property tab to make all the bunch of fancy changes to it. I don't need the solution tab now. So these are the properties which are displayed for this particular text box. I'm gonna change the name of this one. I'm gonna call it text message, and I will remove the text of the content because I want to show it hello world when when the button is clicked. I'm going to change the layout. I want it to be horizontally in the center. I don't want it I don't want the vertically to be in the center. Now you notice that this is not the center because we have the margin set up here. This shows that we have 161 pixels uh, placed on this text block, starting from this onwards from the left side, and we have 56 pixels from top to bottom on this particular block. We want to keep 56 pixels from top, but on the margins from the left side we want to make it 0, and this will bring our text block way in the center, and it's gonna be displaying slightly above in if I go in the whole layouts of it all. So you can see it is displaying slightly above on our screen. Uh, Okay, and I want to change the layout of, I want to change the font of it. I want to display slightly bigger. So I want to make it 24 points. I want to make it bold. I want to make it italicized. So all these changes are done to this text box now. Uh, just in case I'm just saving it. Now I want to add a new button to it, and for that purposes, I'm gonna go to the toolbox again. I'm gonna drag a button, and I'm gonna place it here. So this is my button. On the right side, it is showing the properties of the button, and I'm gonna change the name of it. I'm gonna call it BTN Press Me, because this is gonna be my Press Me button. The content will be Press Me. Oops. So, and one thing I want to say here is like, okay, let me change the layout first, and then we're going to talk about it. I want it in the center and also aligned in the center. As you can see, I have margins here. I don't need margins anymore because I want it in the center of the screen. So, but by changing the margins to 0, you can see the button is in the center now. You can change the color of it. Speaking of which, let me go through the color format. The if you choose, we have different layouts for the formats, for the colors. So if you choose this thing, it is a completely transparent structure. This is a one color format, and you can change it to some other color if you feel like, and however you want it to look like. This is a gradient, so you want to change the gradient. This is the picture if you want to display the picture behind it, and this is the resources, and I'm going to show the resources in the later sessions. So this is how the brush actually looks like. Now this is our, but now let us add the functionality. Okay, let us execute this as is for now, so we see how it is appearing on the front end. This is our emulator for Windows 10 mobile. It's going to transfer the code. It is deploying now. You can see deploying is completed. Oh, sorry, I forgot to change the device. Hold on. Let me change the device. I need to explain that also. Hold on. Uh, this is a device section which we see on top. When I say local machine, this means that I'm really working on it wants to run on this particular machine. But we also have different emulators here. You can see Windows 10 emulator. You can also execute it on the remote machine. When I say device, it means that my Windows phone is connected to this particular computer, and it's gonna go and start looking for the device which is connected. So at this moment, we want to run it on our Windows 10 emulator. So I'm going to execute this. It's going to go and search for our particular emulator. It's going to transfer or deploy our files there, and then it's going to execute it from there. All right, so our application has been executed. This is the flash screen which you saw in the beginning. Since we don't have any text, I should put some text, and later on we can change it. And this is our press me button. You can see that we don't have any functionality in the background at this moment. Let me change the text of it so we can actually see it, and you can understand what exactly is changing. So let's put the content, initial content here. Initial content. Okay, so let's execute it again, and it's going to display our initial content, and we can see where our text is displaying, or I should say text block to be more precise. Later on in the sessions, I'm going to show you how you can change these flash screens, how you can change the logos and all the other things. Hold on. It is because of the memory issues. I hope it will work now. Hold on, I need to. Let me see. Okay, let me close this. Could be because of that. Okay, that is bad because I can't close my Skype here. And up there, which is the
Okay, yeah.
default text of that particular text block, and this is a
Text
button
book.
which we have
Okay.
created. So let's get back to our code and to change the let's change the code of this button, so whenever we click on this, the particular text changes. So to do this, we simply double click on this, and it will automatically create the function and the function or the method of this button. And you can see that button press me was the name of it, and underscore click. And here we can just simply change the text of the message, which was text message dot text is equal to hello world. And this, what this particular command gonna do is, like, it's gonna go to this object text message, it's gonna take the property of text, and it's gonna change whatever the initial text is. It's gonna change it to hello world. And now when we're gonna execute this, and this particular code is gonna run when we click on the press me button. So let's get back to our application, and it's gonna deploy it. And this time when we click on press me, it changes the text to the hello world. So as you can see, like, this is so simple and straightforward now, uh, as most of the clicking thing we need to do now, as compared to the previous way when we had to write or type all the code. So let's dissect some of it. Let's see what exactly is happening here, and then we're gonna finish up with our session here. So as we know, the C
Okay.
sharp is a backend code, and this is the whole file. This is our namespace or solution file, solution here. And within this, we have this public. I will talk about these seal partial things later on. This is our main page. We have a constructor here. It initializes all the components of the main page. And we have only one function which just changes the text of the text block. Coming to the front end, which is a XAML side, the time when we were clicking on these, the design part, when we were clicking on these, we were dragging the text block from here to here. We were dragging the buttons from here to here. We were renaming them. The XAML was automatically generating in the backend. If you notice this text block, I named it as text message on the right side, and it has automatically added this particular tag in there. Horizontal alignment is center, which I selected it on the right side, if you remember. The margins, I selected it myself. Text wrapping is by default, it is selected to text. The text value, I put the initial content on the right side in the properties, and it has already placed in the XAML. Vertical alignment is from the top. Uh, Vertical alignment is from the top, as we decided, as we discussed, and as we placed it on the right side. And then if you remember, I changed the font size to 32. I made it bold, and I also made it italicized. So you can see whatever I did on in the property, all the XAML automatically chose it and placed it there. The same case is with the buttons. If you notice, it has the same properties which I actually selected on the right side. So now what we get from this is like we don't have to do the XAML coding anymore, uh, because we have another special tool on the right side which is called document outline. This is showing us the page. You can see the top app bar, which is actually the top bar, and I'm going to talk about this in the next session. We have this grid which is starting from top left corner to right bottom corner. Within the grid, we have a text message, which is this middle part, and we have the button, which is our main button in the middle. And to look at the properties, we just select them from here. We don't really have to select it from here, because if you make it hidden, you won't be able to display it here. You can only select it from this side, and then you can literally see the properties on the right side of it. And so basically what happens is, like, when we click on the front end from the user side, it executes the functions on the back end. In the CS side, it executes all the functionalities, and then again it comes on the front end and it displays the changes to it. So the new structure has really helped. This is more or less like Windows 8.1 structure, but all we have to do is in one particular application, and it is getting implemented in all the different devices. So this particular solution has completely changed the whole structure of the layout, how we really want to do it, and how we really want to program it in the future. Uh, okay, I think these were the main topics which I had in this particular PowerPoint slide in today's demos. Let me confirm it. Yeah, this was the whole summary which I mentioned, that XAML is for the front end, C# is for the back end. More understanding will take place in the next MVVM will be considered. Okay, XAML side can be click and no more coding anymore, which is a really nice thing now. Most of the C# code, functions, methods can be generated on the fly. I'm going to show further again that just by one clicking, it creates all the whole class files, all get and sets methods, etc. The same app is good to run on all the Windows platforms, and Visual Studios may be used for all the other platforms as well. Xamarin is also another good platform, which I'm going to talk about it later on in the future, inshallah, where we can integrate it and we can use one app for all Windows, iOS, and Android. Another thing, when we were talking about the emulator, I forgot to mention, in Visual Studios 2015, they have created another standalone application, which is an emulator for Android, and the good thing about this one is that you don't really need a Genymotion anymore. All you need is Android Studio, or you need a Visual Studios to execute it, and you are provided with all the latest APIs from Jelly Bean onwards towards Lollipop, and you are provided with all the different tablets out there for Android. So it's quite good to have one solution, one in all solution. Uh, okay, let's come back to the questions. Usman, do you have any questions?
Well, it's just I know. First of all, so initially, if you hadn't changed the default debugging mode, as in if you hadn't changed it to emulator, and if it was in that local machine, it would have run on your computer this same code.
Yes. Since we are most of us design on the desktop, right? So as we already know, sorry.
Hello. Yeah,
Hello.
you can go ahead. Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I can hear you.
yeah, exactly. So uh, here's what happens. Okay, when we get the project from our clients, they have different demands. So for example, if their application has to run on desktop, then we will be using the local machine, and automatically it's going to execute there. And if they expect the same application to be executed on their Windows phone, or maybe to the Surface Pro or some other devices, then we might have to go with the different layouts. So another thing which I really didn't mention it and I should have is when okay, hold on.
Hello.
Hello, yeah, I'm here. Okay. Uh, okay. At this moment, it is not displaying, but there is another thing which is introduced, and it is called visual states. Okay. So the
Okay,
concept of
okay, visual state.
yeah. So the concept of visual states is now that like at this moment when I was executing on the local machine, it would be displaying everything. Uh, it will be displaying all whatever I am doing on the application on this particular local machine. When I will be working on Windows Phone, it will be displaying 100% the same things on the Windows Phone as well. But with visual states, what you can do is if I'm executing this particular application, in visual states I can say on Windows Phone don't display this, or in Windows Phone display it but hide it, or display it only when I click on it, so visual states is going to help us to change the layout, to change the structure of each and every devices formats. Okay.
Okay, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, so
Nice.
when we talk about the local machine, only when we are making the application for the or when we are making the software for the desktop, that's when we will be using the local machine, but or the remote machine or if we want to make it for Surface or if we want to make it for some other devices, then we will use those particular simulators or emulators.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, yes, yes, it does.
Okay, in the new sessions, as we will go more in depth about the XAML things. Okay, so I'm going to explain you how the visual states works, and then you will understand the whole picture. What exactly Microsoft has done for Windows 10 and onwards. So uh,
Okay,
I do want that you give me a feedback. Okay, and
okay,
I want that any topics which you think should be done, I will try to put them inside whatever I have planned, because my focus is for those particular three courses which you guys are working on. uh, Whatever the topics in those particular courses, I'm going to try to cover them up. But let's say you are interested in knowing, okay, how Xamarin works, okay, for example, or you want to know, okay,
yeah,
how iOS emulator works, etc. Okay, so I'm gonna also guide you
okay,
guys for that thing. Okay.
okay, okay.
All right.
Um,
Do you have any questions?
um, okay, well, okay, regarding that, I think, well, I don't know what Sunflower might want, but regarding me, I would like, already, maybe towards the session, maybe we could touch the Xamarin part, because I'm a lot more interested in seeing how you could just reuse the same code for Android and iOS apps when creating the application.
Yeah. But in that case, what happens is like if you remember Windows 8.1 project, where we used to have
Yeah,
three solutions. So we used to have a
okay,
shared format, and we used to have Windows Phone, and then we used to have Windows, right?
this 8.1. Yeah, I remember with the shared library connecting both.
Exactly, the shared library. So the same concept is with the Xamarin. Uh, it
Okay,
is only beneficial if, let's say, you are the only individual person and you are making it for three different platforms. You don't want to You don't want to go in
Okay.
different platforms and redesign each and everything. You don't want to go and put in the same functionalities in Objective C, in Java, in for Android, or you want to come in Windows Phone and do it in C Sharp. So Xamarin is so beneficial in that
Okay.
case. But
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah, so what happens is in Xamarin is like you say if the operating system is Android, then do this. If the operating system is iOS, then do this. You're giving the exceptions to it, but overall it will do to all three applications by default.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah. There are some drawbacks of it, uh, but this is the beneficial part where you really don't lose much of your time. You can do the things on time. You don't want to do the same thing three times rather than you do it one time.
Okay. 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 I guess it. Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.